What if I told you that a US government trains
Why is this shit lagging like that? The fuck?
psychic was asked to remote view Mars, but not on this present day, but 1,000,000 years ago. And the visions that he saw were later confirmed by NASA. This is a declassified document that you can actually check out. This isn't science fiction. This is real. Before we get into the images and the videos of Mars and things like that, let me just tell you briefly what remote viewing is, otherwise known as RV, okay? It is a ability that apparently can be trained, but it's an ability to view distant locations without actually being there, okay? The US government took this proper seriously. Like, for 2 decades, they invested time and money into a program called Project Stargate, alright? This isn't so this isn't something you could just, it's a load of rubbish, you just palm off. Whether it's real or not,
of rubbish.
okay, that could be questionable. We could argue about that. But to have a government invest that amount of time and money and resources into a program, it's got to have some sort of credibility, right? Now, arguably the most famous remote viewer out there is Joe McMoneagle, okay? He was a former Army intelligence officer, and he was responsible for remote viewing 450 cases. He's been responsible of finding locations, finding missing people. Like, this is crazy. So me personally, especially when it comes to paranormal, I would say ghost, spirit, psychics, I'm a bit skeptical of, only because I was once that myself in a little bit of a way. You know, there's another story. But when it comes to this remote viewing, I've got to be honest with you, it's quite new to me. So I'm like, what is it? But when I see these declassified documents talking about it, I'm thinking, mate, is this actually real? Right? So I'm taking everything with a pinch of salt. I want you to decide. So this is the part that gets really nitty-gritty, really strange, okay? In 1984, Joe McMoneagle was given some coordinates. That's all it was. It was basically given an envelope, and inside there were coordinates. And the only thing that they said to him was, describe what you see. That's the only thing that was asked of him. Here's some coordinates, describe what you see. That in itself is crazy. Because if I was given coordinates, and I just wanted to, like, you know, pretend that I was this sort of like remote viewer, I'd be like, yeah, you know, we're in a forest. Oh yeah, it's muddy. Lots of stones around, right? This dude went straight to Mars. Like, what? Anyway, so with these coordinates, he started to focus. He closed his eyes, I would imagine, blindfolded, you know, headphones on. He started seeing a barren, dusty landscape, but with signs of these massive structures and signs of civilization, buildings, and also tall humanoid beings. 10 to 12 foot tall beings. This is what he was relaying. He was talking about an ancient civilization on Mars with beings that 10 to 12 foot tall that was destroyed by a catastrophic disaster. This is what he spoke about in 1984. He described tall beings that looked like us, but just super tall. Now I have to just say, before we carry on with the images and stuff like that, at the end of the video, please go and check out a video that I made a couple of years ago, 3 years ago, I can't remember. It was my theory. I think it was called My Theory. I'll leave the link up here somewhere. And in a nutshell,
I do have a theory about that. I just think there would be more evidence of like I don't know. It was millions of years ago, so everything could have went to dust, and I get that, but I don't know. I just feel like nigga, if there was advanced civilizations on Mars, like it would be some sign, like I don't know. Well, I guess we're gonna find out. We're gonna find out. And then he said he's seen tall beings. How, if you're, I'm just trying to think. Like if I was astral projecting somewhere else and I'm seeing a civilization, how the fuck you know how tall they are if they're all the same height? You know what I mean? Like what the fuck? They're all the same height. I don't know. I could just be tripping, but I just thought I'd say that.
I said that we were once on Mars. And shit happened on Mars, and we had to jump ship, so we came to Earth. One day, something bad is going to happen on Earth, and we are going to go back to Mars.
If we did come from Mars, hey, that's crazy. If we came from Mars and we were tall, and then we came to Earth in a different, atmosphere, different planet, so we started to shrink. I don't know, bro. Got shorter. I don't know. That's why there's some tall niggas still, but I don't know. This nigga could just be on one. But I'm just on that theory he's talking about. We coming from Mars. That would make sense. Why we got shorter. Coming here, different atmosphere. But I don't know, because I don't even know if Mars air is breathable. Like, how the fuck would we have came from there?
Mars. That's my theory in a nutshell. But please go and check out the video, right? So if you think you're quite interested now about this Mars thing and what Joe saw, okay, this is where it gets even more crazy. Because NASA released images that back up what he was saying in 1984. Like, to a T. And I've got videos to show you, alright? This is absolutely huge news. Like, oh God. It's crazy news. If it's real, if it's true, okay?
Prove it.
Now, I've actually got the declassified CIA document, and I'm going to leave it in the link for you to go and check out. It's you can go and check out yourself, but I'll leave it in the link for you, okay? I haven't read it all, but it's incredible. So this is where it gets really strange, okay? So like I say, NASA released these photos. Now, one of which you've probably seen before. It's this face like looking structure on Mars. Now, some people say that that's a sign of a civilization, and some people say that's just like pareidolia. It just looks like it, and you just, it's like wishful thinking, okay? However, it still is strange that Joe saw this in 1984, and then I haven't read it all. These images come out. So whether it's a civilization or pareidolia, you can't deny that he saw this, and you can't deny that that's crazy to think that he saw this, whether it's like a civilization or not. He saw it, and later on confirmed that's what he saw. That's mad. Now, just going back to Joe a little bit, because, I want you to understand how, almost pinpoint accurate this guy was in certain cases. It was one of the most famous viewings that he did was a Soviet Union submarine. He described this submarine before it was built, right? Before it was built. And the CIA said that it was so accurate there must be something about this remote viewing. Although at the back of that, they end up closing Project Stargate in 1990. So that's just weird. Or did they? Did they close it down? We don't know. Is it still going on now? Probably. Maybe. Don't know. Maybe not. So I'm going to show you a couple of videos now of Joe McMoneagle talking about this. It's very interesting.
In May of 1984 at the Monroe Institute, I had been training with Bob for almost 14 months, learning to control my out-of-body experiences. It turns out you can do very specific things with out-of-bodies that you can't do with remote viewing. If you want to know how the trigger mechanism works on a Chinese nuclear weapon, out-of-body's better, because you can go to the Chinese nuclear weapon and put your face in it, look around, do detailed drawing. But if you want to know where all the parts from the weapon came from, remote viewing's better, because all the parts are intricately linked together. My training officer, Skip Atwater, would come in from the project and test me to see whether or not my remote viewing was getting any better. One of the training tests that he brought was a target that I didn't know anything about. Well, this particular week, he brought a Mars target. I didn't know it was a Mars target. He gave a sealed envelope to Bob Monroe, which inside had a card that said Mars 1 million years BC. He had a list of coordinates. And the first set of coordinates was 44.89 degrees, 9.55 degrees west. I didn't know anything about the targets as I was laying in a dark black cube in the lab, floating on a sea of salt. And the first thing I heard was the coordinates. And this was my response.
Hang on, what did he say? Hang on, sorry, what did he say? Was this about the conditions of him doing remote viewing?
I didn't know anything about the targets as I was laying in a dark black cube in the lab, floating on a sea of salt. And
that reminds me of that film with Tom Cruise where they have that girl in a bath and it predicts like a murder event, and then Tom Cruise has to go and arrest this person before he murders this person. What was that called?
I ain't never seen that shit.
Man, I'm telling you, these films, mate, they know more than what we think, you know?
That's facts,
the first thing
though.
I heard was a coordinate.
That's facts.
And this was my response. I got a great view of a pyramid form, sitting in a large depression. It's yellowish ochre colored. I get clouds, a severe storm, major geological trauma. Then I was asked to visit the site before the trauma. They said, go back before the trauma. They said all the dirt had disappeared. There were now smooth walls. Everything was flat, megalithic. I said something about, gee, is this a new pyramid? Did they discover a new pyramid? Because it's really large. Shadow of people, fragments, memory of people. They said, go back to when they were there. Large people, thin and tall, wearing strange clothes, skin tight, very tight, almost can't see them. This is actually the depressed area. This is the pyramid. It's
That's the face.
actually a double-layered pyramid. In a canyon looking up steep, high walls that go on forever.
What the fuck? Face? Oh yeah, I do see a little face. What the fuck is that though? How big is it? If that's a pyramid, because the pyramids are huge. I'm talking about this like a aerial project. You know, they're above, so that's like.
That's the face.
Actually a double-layered
The
pyramid.
face.
In a
That's
canyon
crazy.
looking up steep, high walls that go on forever. Very intricate, huge sections of smooth stone carved out. Getting
Bro,
very large structures.
What are the pyramids
Rabbit
for?
warren, huge
Like, we need to
corridors
figure
and
that out.
rooms.
That's the main
That's a canyon.
thing.
And that's the pyramid.
They built them a long time ago for a reason.
Now what's really interesting about this particular
And if they're on
pyramid,
Mars,
you notice it's sitting on the side of the impact crater. And that's a real trick, because that means the pyramid had to be put there after the impact crater.
Oh, yeah.
Because if the impact crater hit after the pyramid was there, it would have destroyed the pyramid. The other interesting thing about this picture is you can measure the shadow of the crater, and based on the angle of the sun, you can estimate the size of the crater wall as being 3,000 meters tall. Now look at the shadow on the pyramid. Pretty tall pyramid.
Yeah.
That's a 20,000 meter tall pyramid.
20,000 What? 20,000 meters. That's 12.5 miles. What? It's 12.5 miles.
Here's something else interesting. That pyramid's even closer to the edge. There's the road in, there's the road out. This is a general area.
Yeah,
Pyramid's huge, but different this time. The reason these were different is because they were a cluster. These are like shelters from storms.
Them motherfuckers were
Designed for
giants.
sleeping. I specified hibernation, sleeping through savage storms. I'm asked to find out why. They're an ancient people trying to survive that's past their time and age. They're waiting for the return of someone sent to find a new home. Their world passed through the tail of a comet. I had a sense that their atmosphere was stripped away or destabilized when it passed through the tail of the comet. This is an old fort. Now what's interesting about the old fort, this is actually a pyramid. That's one side, that's the other side, that's the other side. The tip is missing off the top and it's hollow. They call it the old fort. It's always referred to as the old fort. That's a grouping of pyramids. And that's a building, or what's left of a building on a sort of a plateau. Or
Because again, these sharp angles, right?
that's a drawing I did of the larger beings. What I think in actuality, there really are no such thing as Martians. What I think Martians are is us. I think we're descendants of the original inhabitants of Mars.
That's what I said, mate.
And we're the ones that never went back.
When we go to Mars, we're going to continue this search of understanding who we are, where we came from, and what was before us, and may be foretelling of what is the future.
What the mate? I've got more videos for you. 1 second. But
I don't know about y'all. Us niggas though, we ain't from no Mars. Niggas ain't from no Mars. Maybe that's where y'all from, nigga. But I don't know about that, nigga. That's crazy though, man. That's
the question that I've got, in 1984, what did they know, and why specifically did they say, look at Mars 1 million years ago? Like, what do they know that we don't know? Why? Why not Neptune 1 million years ago? Earth 1 million years ago? Imagine what they really do know. Man. It's incredible. Here's another video. I hope I can show it. But
That's wild.
it talks also about a red light, like a red beacon that was seen, that he mentions. He didn't mention on this video, but he mentions in this later one that he saw a red light, a beacon.
Alright, real shit. If they got some shuttles going for like sending niggas to Mars, y'all going or y'all staying? I don't know. I think I was staying. I don't know. I think I was staying. I don't know about no Mars shit. Like if it came out tomorrow that we was really from Mars, nigga, and they're like, oh, we have to go back to Mars because this is where we're from, and start the population over there again and rebuild and a whole new world outside of Trump. Leave Trump and go there. Are y'all going? I don't know. It's going to vary on the circumstances. Who's going to be in charge? If Trump's staying in charge and he's taking over, I'm out of here. We want to go see what Mars is about. What that Mars do, we out of here. But I don't know. It just depends on the circumstances for me. 'Cause I like the ground. I like the flat ground, but I do want to go float in space. That shit would be That shit would be active. Go float in space. I don't have to worry about hitting the ground, but hey, we're gonna find out.
Almost like
I guess.
These
All things could come to light.
Us back then were calling out for help, and later stage, years later, that red light goes out. Right? Let me just tell you, these images apparently you can request these photographs, right, from JPL, Jet Propulsion Laboratory, which is a NASA-sponsored research center, specializes in robotic space exploration. Okay, so because it's funded by the public, you can ask for these photos. Now, apparently, you can't just say, "Can I have the photos of the civilization?" You have to have the exact coordinates, and then they'll give it to them. They're not just going to say, "Oh yeah, I know which one you mean." By the way, not only this red beacon, but also a potential mobile phone, which was 3 foot big, a 3 foot big mobile phone type looking device. Now, I'm not saying it is a mobile phone. It could have been anything. Now, I know also that even if you are 10 to 15 foot tall, a 3 foot mobile phone is pretty big, right? But then again, when mobile phones first came out, mate, they used to be about 1 meter long, right? These massive things. Yeah, so who knows? Take a listen to this.
Okay.
That's on Mars.
That's on Mars. That's a bone.
That's a bone.
Yeah. Certainly isn't a stone.
That does not look like a stone. And you got these from JPL?
Yeah.
Really?
Come right off a negative of Mars in their mapping series. See these little buildings? One there, one there. Here's 3 in a row.
Buildings?
Yeah.
This is on Mars.
Here's a building over here.
Is it a picture from a rover, or is it a picture from a telescope, or?
It's a picture from a mapping. Here's a curly cube.
Like, that just looks so strange.
It's a picture from a mapping satellite. That's a satellite making maps of Mars.
Wow.
That is a non-natural edge. You don't get a 30-mile edge like that.
Wow.
Just by nature.
30 miles.
That's a sheer cliff.
How long is that?
30 miles.
30 miles.
30 miles,
Now,
man.
I'll show you where it comes from. Here it is. So, that's the
30 miles. So we're talking 30, 60. We're talking about 90 to 100 miles, this thing.
that edge.
The fuck is it?
It's just a deep chasm. That's a perfectly straight edge. It comes out of right here and goes straight as an arrow all the way across and then fades into the ground there.
What is
Here's
it?
a cavern, and it's got all this like wire stuff on the top.
So that's a subterranean cavern?
That's a subterranean cavern. You cannot see into it, but it's very deep.
And there's wiring?
That's wiring. Here's the interesting part.
Oh my god. What?
When we first caught this on Mars, there was a bright red light right here. That's gone out since we caught it. I actually have a photo of the light.
What?
Yeah,
What do you think?
bright red light.
What do you think the light was? Well, that almost implies that there's something there now.
Yeah. Let me show you something else.
So there are people at JPL who definitively
There you
think.
go.
Is that real?
That's real. That's 3 feet long and that big around.
That's
And it's
What?
got buttons.
So, yeah, it's got buttons and almost like maybe... Do you remember the old arcade games where you had the ball and you span it like that for making people run and move? Like one of those things.
On it and a rotating thing
that
here.
was taken on Mars.
That's laying on Mars, man.
And if you sent that to like a NASA photo instrumentation specialist, they wouldn't be able to
they'd
debunk it.
say what they do is they'd say, bullshit, that's not off of Mars. Well, I have the negative.
He's got the negative. Look at this. Man. And he's got the negative.
You have the negative.
Yeah. So they can say whatever the hell they want.
And you can back it up with these JPL guys.
Yeah.
Well,
So I will send you that.
somebody's from there.
Something
I don't know
else
who it
very
is.
similar.
What on
Shit.
earth is going on here, man?
Mike,
How crazy is that?
It's bizarre.
So this is his conversation. I'm seeing,
Absolutely bizarre.
it's like a perception of a shadow of people, very tall, thin. It's only a shadow. It's as if they were there and they're not there anymore. What? Oh, mate, that's like shadow people. It's like I get a lot of static on a line and everything. It's breaking up all the time, very fragmentary pieces. Just report the raw data. Don't try to put things together. Just report the raw data. Mate, my God, that's what I'm saying. You know, tell me what you see. What is it you're seeing? Just tell me the raw footage. Mate, this is absolutely incredible. Deep inside of a cavern, not a cavern, more like a canyon. I'm looking up the sides of the steep wall that seem to go on forever, and there's like a structure with it. It's like the wall of canyon itself has been carved. Do the structures have insides and outsides? See pyramids. Can't tell if it's overlay or not, because they're different. Okay, do these pyramids have insides or outsides? It's twice they've asked that question. Got both. They're huge. It's really it's an interesting perception I'm getting. I think that he's losing his ability to move accurately. Oh my God! But he is attracting to mate, this is mad. I'll leave that in the description below. Go and check out the full thing, mate. It's a really interesting read.
Yeah, that's wild.
Thank you so much for watching. What do you think? Do you think this remote viewing is real? Do you think it's just coincidence that he's managed to see these things? Did we come from Mars? Was it another complete civilization that nothing to do with us? Or is it a load of BS? Thank you so much for watching. I hope you liked it. And please remember to...
No, remote viewing is definitely real. It's definitely real. That's just what they call it. Everybody calls it something different, but